obviously looking at social media and stuff, you'd be like, gosh, this girl has her stuff together. And I mean, like, it might be that way, but like, I still try to have little snippets of my life on like, there's still stuff that's hard. Like having some of that transparency of like, I don't want to come across like my practice is perfect. I try to be like a real person, which I think my patients are really appreciating. But I also I'm not a closed book. So I mean, I have very casual conversations with my patients. A lot of times I have patients tell me that it's like going to a therapy session, which is totally fine. Like I'm happy to talk through like life's problems, but that's what I think I'm here for. And then I've also had days where I lose my cool and like I've had a bad morning or, you know, a bad meeting at my previous job and I'm like, and it affects me and they see it and then they brought me flowers. Like that's happened multiple times or they've written nice letters. And so it's like, it feels so good when they support me too.
And how can being a dental professional actually contribute to more anxiety or depression in people?
High achieving people have very busy brains. It's why we can achieve things because we like to be busy. We like to do multiple things. But then with that, you know, comes overwhelm, which then leads to some anxiety, which then, you know, leads to comparison, which comparison is the thief of joy. Just having a busy brain leads to a lot of that stuff. So being very mindful of being able to recognize your busy brain, recognize that your busy brain might not always be telling you the right information, and then just being mindful of when the anxiety and overwhelm starts to creep in. We can continue to go through the same thing every day, but then we're not working towards being a better version of ourselves if we're just experiencing the same thing over and over again. And I don't know about you, but for me, that's exhausting to feel the same way every day and not make, you know, an effort towards not even necessarily fixing it, but like learning about it and working on that, just feeling different. I will openly admit I have been going to therapy for a few months now. It just gives you something to look forward to that, you know, like, I mean, just, you know, we do things like we exercise to take care of our bodies and our mental health too. But, you know, you go to the doctor to take care of your body and all of that. But like, there's not enough focus on like taking care of your mental health so that, you know, if you can work on yourself, you show up better in the rest of the areas in your life for your spouse, for your coworkers, for your patients, for people you're interacting with at the grocery store, for your children. And that's part of why I'm doing it, because I just don't want to be an anxious person for my daughter, because she's going to grow up seeing that that's normal. And I don't want that to be her. If I can help it. So working on myself, therefore, creates a better environment for her.
What would you think about sharing just briefly for a moment or two, just about kind of your journey with, you know, let's say anxiety or depression? I know for me, I started really dealing with depression when I was not even in high school. So I would say middle school is when I really started to have a big struggle with it.
I didn't realize what an anxious person I really have been for a lot of my life, where, you know, I mean, it started when I was young, always like, you know, the achieving part, like having to have A's, asking about the what ifs. I have a very profound memory in high school of, I always asked, you know, my science teacher, who's also an endodontist and my mentor. I remember sitting in his class one day being like, well, what if this, what if that? I don't remember exactly what the conversation is, but he's like, you have to stop that. Like, what if the world ends? Like, you know, and like, I was like, what? But you know, the what if stuff that was anxiety. What I recognize now because of it and being aware of anxiety is I can really recognize when I'm anxious and go, okay, your brain is telling you to be, you know, busy, anxious, all of these things, and you need to learn how to quiet that down. Yeah. Like you need to take a step back and go, is this worth taking up space in your day? Or is this something that can get written down and addressed tomorrow, because most of my anxieties right now are business related, dental practice related, figuring things out, having a very busy list of things to do. Like last night, for example, I did not sleep a whole lot last night. And typically that's not too much of an issue for me. I'm typically a pretty good sleeper. And a lot of times I found over the last year when I can't shut my brain off, I'm either counting sheep or I have to write it down and get it out of there. So I think just like recognizing that it's taking up space, writing it down, coming back to it if it needs to come back to, but just writing it down and getting it out, I think really helps with some of those anxieties too.
You seem like a very open book. Now, has it always been easy for you to be, to share and be vulnerable, or is that something that you've worked on?
I feel like as I've gotten older, I mean, I think you just come with like life experience, and I'm happy to share stuff. I don't really feel like I'm a super private person. Unfortunately, like for me, it just feels better to get it out.
Yeah.
Or not from listening, I don't know, but it does just feel better to get it out.
Well, so this conversation has been awesome, Dr. Mertz. But before I let you go, if you could say one thing that might help another dentist struggling with their mental wellness right now, what would that be?
Reach out. I'm here. Like, I'm happy to talk through it, talk through how I, eventually decided to go to therapy, talk through the struggles that you're having. Like, I mean, I'm happy to listen. Or if you don't want to talk to me, talk to somebody else. Like, just get it out there, because you don't realize how good that feels to just get it out until you've done it.